Old Henry by Joan W. Blose, illustrated by Stephen Gammell. The story begins when a stranger appears and moves into a house that was vacant for years. No one thought he meant to stay. The house was drafty, dark, and gray, and more than 7 years had passed since anyone had lived there last. He meant to stay, he had no doubt. It suited him from inside out, and in its vast and dusty spaces, all the things he had found places. That Henry! The neighbors watched him moving in and promised each other he'd soon begin to fix things up a bit. He did not think of it. With money enough to pay the rent, his books, birds, and cooking pots, he was content, and never did notice, or else didn't care, that people whispered everywhere, "That place is a disgrace." At least, they remark, you would think that he could show a little respect for the neighborhood. That place is a disgrace. At last they decided to form a committee and went to him saying, "We are proud of our city. If you'd only help out, think how good it would look." "Excuse me," he bowed and went back to his book. That Henry! Then they fined him fines. They threatened jail. They wrote him long letters and sent them by mail. Dear Henry. Still the hollyhocks wilted, unwatered, unkept. The gatepost stayed crooked, the walk stayed unswept, and things went on as they'd begun, and he angered his neighbors one by one. So unfriendly, never talks. Can't we make him sweep his walks? No, there's nothing we can do. You nasty Polly, shoo, bird, shoo! On a day in November, they sought the advice of the mayor, who suggested being nice. Being nice? Please try it twice. But when two of the ladies baked him a pie, he said, "I'm not hungry. No, thank you. Goodbye." And when 3 of the men said they'd shovel his snow, he quickly said, "No, we told you so." Now Henry, too, had his fill. That night he grumbled, "I never will live like the rest of them, neat and the same. I am sorry I came." Then he packed some things in shopping bags and tied the rest in 3 old rags. He didn't make plans, he just left a short note, a hastily written, "Gone to Dakota." He taped it to the big front door. And no one lived there anymore. His daylilies bloomed, his phlox grew tall. They picked his apples in the fall. They picked his apples, and now and then someone would ask, "Remember when? Remember when? Remember when?" Later still, in winter's snow, they asked one another, "Where did he go? Will he come again?" His house looks so empty, so dark in the night, and having him gone doesn't make us more right. That Henry. Maybe some other time we'd get along, not thinking that somebody has to be wrong. And we don't have to make such a terrible fuss, because everyone isn't exactly like us. Meanwhile, old Henry, to his great surprise, was missing the neighbors who'd brought him the pies. In spite of their nagging, he really did care for them in their street. So he wrote to the mayor. Dear Mr. Mayor, I am finding it hard to be far from my house and my tree and my yard. If I mended the gate and I shoveled the snow, would they not scold my birds? Could I let my grass grow? Please write and tell me the answers so then we can all get together. Sincerely yours, Henry.